It starts as an ordinary day in a quiet suburban neighborhood until a routine traffic stop takes a shocking turn. A stern police officer pulls over a sleek black car, his demeanor tense and authoritative. Behind the wheel sits a well-dressed black man, calm and collected. The officer doesn't recognize him, but this isn't just anyone. This man is a U.S. senator, a figure of power and respect. What begins as a simple exchange quickly spirals into something much bigger. As tensions rise, questions of race, authority, and prejudice bubble to the surface. But just when it seems like the situation can't get any worse, the senator says something that leaves the officer and everyone watching in stunned silence. What happens next will challenge everything you think you know about justice and accountability. Stay tuned, because this twist will leave you questioning the true meaning of power and respect. The officer's hand tightens around his ticket book as the senator calmly hands over his license and registration. The officer scans the documents, his eyes narrowing. There's a brief pause before he speaks, his tone sharp. "What brings you to this area, Senator?" The way he says it isn't polite. It's pointed, as though he's questioning why someone like the senator would be here at all. The senator, still calm, meets the officer's gaze. "I'm on my way to a meeting," he replies, his voice steady but firm. There's no hint of aggression, but his words seem to challenge the officer's tone. Meanwhile, cars slow as they pass, drivers craning their necks to see what's happening. The officer appears conflicted, his stern exterior cracks just slightly, but he doubles down, pushing harder with his questions. Something feels off. Why is this officer so insistent? And why does the senator's quiet confidence seem to unnerve him? The senator takes a measured breath, aware that the situation is escalating. He notices the officer glancing toward his radio, as if considering calling for backup. "Is there a reason this stop is taking so long?" the senator asks, his voice steady but edged with curiosity. The question hangs in the air, making the officer's jaw tighten. Instead of answering, the officer leans in closer, his tone now dripping with suspicion. "You seem awfully calm for someone pulled over. Most people would be nervous." The senator tilts his head slightly, unfazed. "Should I be nervous?" He counters, his words cutting through the tension like a blade. Nearby, a bystander pulls out their phone and starts recording, sensing the unease in the exchange. The officer notices, and a flicker of doubt crosses his face. But instead of backing down, he presses forward, determined to assert control. The question lingers. Is this about a traffic stop, or something much deeper? The atmosphere grows heavier with each passing second. The officer's hand hovers near his belt, and the senator, still composed, keeps his hands resting clearly on the steering wheel. The bystander recording steps a little closer, their phone capturing every detail. "What exactly are you looking for, officer?" the senator asks, his voice calm but with a sharp edge of authority. Instead of answering, the officer shifts his stance and glances at the bystander, clearly uncomfortable under the watchful eye of the camera. "Step back," he barks, trying to regain control of the situation. But the bystander doesn't move, their focus locked on the unfolding scene. The senator speaks again, this time more firmly. "If there's an issue, I'd like to know what it is. Otherwise, I have somewhere to be." The officer hesitates, his confidence cracking just slightly. But then he makes a decision, one that will change everything. He reaches for his radio, his expression unreadable. What happens next will leave everyone holding their breath. As the officer speaks into his radio, his words are clipped and vague, leaving everyone wondering what he's planning. The senator watches closely, his sharp gaze never wavering. But then something unexpected happens. Another car pulls up to the scene, a sleek black SUV with government plates. The door swings open, and a woman steps out, her expression calm but commanding. She's a member of the senator's security team, and her arrival shifts the dynamic instantly. The officer's face pales for a moment before he quickly masks his reaction. "This is a private matter," he says, his tone defensive. But the woman, unfazed, steps closer and flashes her badge. This isn't just any citizen you've pulled over. You're speaking to a sitting senator, and we need to ensure his safety. The crowd watching from a distance begins to grow, murmurs rippling through the group. The bystander with the phone captures everything, their camera now focused on the officer's increasingly uneasy demeanor. The senator doesn't say a word, letting the tension build. The officer's hand drops from his belt, but his posture remains rigid. The question now isn't just about who holds the power, it's about what happens when the truth comes to light. The officer stiffens as the security agent approaches, her presence now commanding the scene. The senator finally speaks, his voice calm but with an unmistakable edge. "Officer, I've cooperated fully. Now, I suggest you explain why this stop has taken such an unusual turn." The crowd grows quieter, hanging on every word. The officer hesitates, his authority slipping through his fingers. He finally mutters, "Just routine protocol." But the security agent doesn't let it slide. "Routine? You've had his ID for 10 minutes. What exactly are you looking for?" Before the officer can respond, the senator steps out of the car, drawing audible gasps from the crowd. Standing tall and composed, he looks directly at the officer. "You know who I am now," he says, "but it shouldn't take a title for someone to be treated with respect." The officer's face turns red as the weight of the moment sinks in. Just as the tension seems to ease, the bystander holding the phone speaks up. "Funny thing," they say, stepping closer. "I saw you pull him over without cause. I've got it all on video." The officer's expression shifts from defiance to panic. The senator, ever calm, glances at the bystander and then back at the officer. "Accountability matters," he says quietly. The crowd murmurs in agreement as the senator calmly returns to his car, leaving the officer standing frozen, his career and reputation now hanging by a thread. The SUV follows, and the street is left buzzing with the power of what just unfolded. As the senator's car disappears down the street, the crowd begins to disperse, but the weight of what just happened lingers in the air. The bystander tucks their phone away, clearly satisfied that the truth has been captured. The officer, standing alone now, looks shaken, his earlier confidence replaced by visible uncertainty. For the senator, it wasn't just about the traffic stop. It was about standing firm in the face of injustice and reminding everyone that no one, no matter their position or status, should be treated unfairly. The moment sparks conversations among those who witnessed it, discussions about respect, accountability, and the deeper issues that still need to be addressed. Back in his car, the senator reflects quietly. His calm was never about his title. It was about knowing his worth, and the worth of every individual, regardless of who they are. Sometimes, the strongest statement is simply standing your ground.